Hey, and welcome to the Jessica Paul podcast. I'm your host, Jess Paul, actress, manifestation expert, and mindset coach. And I'm here to share with you all of my secrets on confidence, success, and the magic of manifestation. If you're ready to dive in deep and see more success in your career, more money in your bank account, and more love in your life with a whole new level of freedom, then you're in the right place. I'm letting loose on everything you need to take back control of your life, up-level your mindset, and tap into your manifestation powers. I'm so excited that you're here.
Hey you guys, and welcome back to another week of the JP podcast. It is I, Jess Paul, here to help you up-level your life and your career and manifest a reality that you fucking love. I am your manifestation mentor, your spiritual bestie, all of the things. I'm very, very excited to sit down with you guys today. So today, I'm going to be introducing something a little bit different. I'm going to be introducing basically like a mini series on a kind of, it's called Back to Basics, because I've asked this question a few times on my Instagram stories, and a lot of you have been like, yes, like I want to go back right to the start of all things manifestation and mindset and what it all means, and those things that you hear about in this community a lot, you know, like affirmations, limiting beliefs, meditation, all these things, and like go back to what they all really mean in a mini series to go through each of these things. Because I think sometimes when you can go further into your self-development journey, you can forget the basics, and it's the basics that need to be ticking over every single day. And yes, you expand and you grow and new shadows arise, but like these basic principles are what are going to keep your mindset in check. It's what is going to keep you consistently manifesting. And I think that sometimes we forget what a lot of it is about, because we feel often, and listen, I felt this before, sometimes you feel like you're over it, you're above it, or like you've done it all before. So like, what's the point in going through it? But I tell you, like my students that go through my academy, I get so many of them messaging me being like, oh, I'm going all the way back to the beginning. And so I'm going to cover some of the basics with you over a period of like 3 or 4 weeks in this Back to Basics series. So today we're going to be diving into all things limiting beliefs and how to really understand what we're believing, because, and you probably hear this a lot, but it is really freaking true. Your beliefs shape your reality. Everything that you're believing about yourself, about the world around you, is currently shaping your reality today. And I'm going to be talking you through really the science behind that, why it's really freaking true, and why for that reason, like it's important for us to understand what we're believing, understand what it all means, so that we can start to create a reality that we want to create, right? Because we are always thinking and believing every step of the way in our life. We believe things about everything. So this is what today's episode is about. But first, a little life update. So basically, I'm going to be pre-recording some of this series. Like obviously this isn't a pre-recorded one, like this is coming out this week, but like I'll be pre-recording some of it because again, I have got the busiest next few weeks. I'm going to be going to London, and I've got like a number of meetings lined up in London, business meetings for both of my businesses. I'm going then straight to York to see my sister, because I haven't seen my sister in ages, and my sister is pregnant. Guys, I don't even think I've announced this on the podcast, because I remember I nearly did when I found out, but then I wasn't allowed to tell anyone, so I was like, oh god, keep it a secret. But no, my sister is pregnant, and I'm so excited because she's also getting married in September, so there's a lot of preparation going on at the moment. She's due to give birth in December, so we're going to have a little baby. I'm going to have a little baby, niece or nephew. So I'm going to go and visit her, because I've not seen her in a while, and visit little baby. And then I'm going literally straight to Edinburgh, where I am going to go and watch some of the Fringe shows. So for those of you guys that are listening to me from abroad, like, Edinburgh Fringe is one of the biggest, in fact, you've probably heard of it because it's like a worldwide thing, really. Like it's one of the biggest festivals for the creative arts, like probably, in the world. But my gorgeous assistant Frankie actually lives in Edinburgh, so I'm going to go and visit her for her birthday, and I'm going to go and see actually one of my wonderful clients perform in a play over there, and go and see all the other things that are going on. So basically, I've just got the busiest few weeks where I'm like non-stop. I'm mentally preparing myself for all of the social activities, because you guys know me, like I need my space and I need my time. So like when I know I've got like a whole few weeks of just like total social environment, I'm like, right, okay, let's prepare. But I'm very excited. But for that reason, I'm going to be off and about and all over the place again. So I'm going to pre-record some of these episodes for you, but I'm going to be sharing everything all over Instagram again. So I started getting back on Instagram a little bit this morning. I was posting a few more things. Like you guys know as well, if you've listened to my other episodes, that I kind of came off social media for a bit. And then I was like, no, I'm like feeling called. I'm feeling pulled to do it again, because as well, I'm always listening to my intuition. I know when I want to do it, and I'm just going to listen to my body, So I'm back on Instagram a bit more again. So I'll be sharing lots of things over there, and please feel free to drop me a DM. Please feel free to tag me. I love it when you guys tag this, like take a screenshot of you guys listening to the podcast and tag it on your Instagram stories. It really means the world to me, because it just shares it with everybody else and shares the love. So I'm going to be hanging out on there. So make sure, if you're not already, come and follow me. I am Jessica Paul over on Instagram. And lots of exciting things coming up. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. So, limiting beliefs then. Right, what is a limiting belief? Basically, a limiting belief is a belief you have that is not serving you, basically. So it's these negative beliefs that we find ourselves in, I don't know whether you guys have ever heard of this concept, the negative mindset bias, where we've been really programmed to believe such negative things because we're kind of just in this like fear mode, this fight or flight mode, where like we're constantly just looking for the worst case scenario all the time to keep ourselves safe. Basically, this is what it all comes down to. Like, we're trying to keep our little human selves safe from anything that could possibly go wrong in our life. But now, like, this actually does stem back right the way to like cavemen and women era, where we're literally trying to keep ourselves safe from dying by getting eaten or something. But nowadays we're in the 21st century and we really don't need to be living with half of those fears. But what I see nowadays is so many fears around money, around like not having enough money, a lack of that there. So many fears around as well, not being good enough, not feeling like you are worthy, not basically just not being good enough for the life that you want to live and the career you want to have. And again, as creatives, because I am an actress, like I like the biggest limiting beliefs I hear are just basically that it's hard work to get a job. It's just, there's not enough acting work, or like, all sorts of things, like my agent isn't doing the work, or like there's not enough auditions, or there's just too many people. And these kind of things that you say to yourself on repeat, these are limiting beliefs that we're living with. And basically, when we live with these limiting beliefs, what happens is it will shape our reality. And the reason behind that is very scientific. What tends to happen when you're thinking about something, because listen, a belief is just a thought that you think over and over and over again. So that's why repetition is key in changing it, which when we talk about affirmations, like that's what we'll dive into, because repetition creates the belief. Like if you just thought on the one-off, there's not enough money like to go around, then it was just a one-off thought, then it wouldn't become a belief, right? But if you're thinking every single day there's not enough money to go around, or it's hard to make money, or like these are classic ones that people say, like money doesn't grow on trees, or you should save for a rainy day, and like all these things like you hear I know I'm talking a lot about money, but I really do see so much of this like lack mindset around money in my clients and, you know, in so many of my family members and my friends. And it's like, you know, if you just took the time to understand what you're actually believing about yourself, then you're going to be able to start controlling where your reality heads, like the direction of your reality, you know? And so much of this, guys, and like all of these back to basic things, these are things that we dive in deep with inside my academy. Like we're just going to be touching the surface on these things during this like mini series. But like these are the things that we dive deep into, because if we don't understand what we're believing, we can't even begin to change our reality, which is why you guys are all listening to this, because you want to manifest that reality for yourself, that amazing reality for yourself. So basically, guys, what happens is when we start thinking something over and over again, our reticular activating system in our brain starts getting involved. And this reticular activating system basically is just where a network of neurons are located in your brain. And basically that network of neurons just filters out all the other stuff and focuses on the important stuff. So if you're believing something like it's hard work to find an acting job, or it's hard work to make money, and you're believing that, and it's going on and on and on in your subconscious mind, then your reticular activating system is going to get involved, and it's going to start picking things out in your life that proves that belief, right? It's going to start picking things out for you to see in your physical reality to go, yes, that is correct. You are correct. Here's the proof, right? So what we want to do is we want to start believing things that become that important focus for our reticular activating system. Okay, we want to start repeating these new, more empowering beliefs that then our reticular activating system looks at and goes, okay, where's the proof of that? Where can we find that? Where can we see that to prove it and tell you that you are correct? Okay, so now, basically, guys, we've got two sets of beliefs, okay? We have got our conscious beliefs, and these are the things that you kind of know you're saying to yourself, right? You kind of know you're saying to yourself, like, let's say, and again, this is like quite a personal thing, but for me, when I was really at my lowest, like 3 or 4 years ago now, guys, because listen, for those of you that are just starting out on my podcast and, you know, maybe don't know me like a lot yet, in my story, like I wasn't born with this mindset. Like I've got a really strong fucking mindset right now. And this is why I manifest so much into my life. But like, I wasn't born with this strong mindset. Like I went through a number of years in my life where I was very, very low. I was depressed. I was full of anxiety. And I believed some very negative things about myself. And there was a whole point in my life where I had like issues with my body, like body dysmorphia and like, you know, weight things. And so I would believe so many things about myself in that moment. And I'd kind of tell myself in the mirror, like, oh, Jess, you're fat, or your legs are too fat, or you're like, you know, you just don't look good, right? And those are the things that I'd say to myself in the mirror that I was conscious of. Okay, so those conscious beliefs are the first type of belief that you can start getting a hold of right now, okay? Because if you notice what you're saying to yourself on the regular, then you can start to turn that around. Now, the other thing, guys, the other set of beliefs that we have are our subconscious ones. Now, these are the more dangerous ones, and these are ones we really dive into with all of my clients and my students, because they're honestly the ones that it's really fucking difficult to understand just by yourself, right? There's a lot of layers to it to kind of get to the bottom of these subconscious beliefs, but these are the beliefs that are going on at the back of your mind. Just think of it like when you ride a bike, you know, when you learn to ride a bike as a kid, like you would be thinking about it, you know, you'd be like, okay, how do I like ride with these pedals? Like, how can I take my stabilizers off? You know, maybe your mum and dad helped you as a kid. Like my dad helped me ride a bike when I was a kid, okay? If those of you don't ride a bike, it's the same as, again, like driving a car or learning how to swim or all these things, right?
as a kid, you're thinking about it over and over again whilst you're doing it. But then once you get the hang of it, it goes into your subconscious. And now every time you get on a bike, you don't have to think about how you ride that bike. Every time you get in the car, you don't have to think about how to drive. You just freaking do. Again, your reticular activating system gets involved and you just do, okay? And that is what goes on with limiting beliefs as well, guys. So if you're thinking in the back of your mind, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, there isn't enough money to go around, or, it's just too difficult to get an acting job, like all of these limiting beliefs. If these are going on in your subconscious, but consciously you're going, nah, I'm fine, I don't believe that, it's all good, let's just cover it up with a smile, your life is still going to play out in that way. Okay, so if you're still looking around at your life and things aren't changing and nothing is actually getting better, and maybe you've been listening to me for a while, or maybe you've been diving into your self-development for a while, but things just haven't changed yet, that is because we haven't got to the bottom of those subconscious beliefs. And now, how crazy is this, guys? I actually found out a fact the other day that your subconscious actually controls 95% of your life. 95% of your entire reality it controls. So there is if you're working on these conscious beliefs and you're kind of saying these affirmations again and again, you're only actually changing 5% of your life, which I just thought was absolutely crazy. So the main work here, and the main work that I do as a coach with my clients, is to get to that 95% so that actually your life can change, right? So a great way to just start this off, guys, is to just become really hyper aware of what you're thinking. All the time. I always say to my students, it can be such a brain fuck when you first start this work, because you're just constantly thinking over and over again, what am I thinking? And obviously I don't want you guys to be stuck in your brain. So much of what I teach is, obviously, I teach mindset, I teach miracles, and I teach manifestation. So, this is the mindset aspect of this work, but the miracle aspect is the energy side of things. So that's why you need to be in your body, right? And then the manifestation is obviously taking the action and making shit happen. But the mindset side of things, it's not so that you guys get stuck in your head and get stuck in what you're thinking all the time. It's just becoming hyper aware. I always say the most successful people in life are always hyper aware, just knowing every step of the way, what am I thinking in this moment? And it's so important in our healing work, because when you get triggered by something, this is where we get to work through it and become a better human being. So really, a great way to start working through your limiting beliefs is just becoming aware of what you're thinking, okay? Because often we can just ask the question, why is my life so shit right now? Or why are things not working for me right now? Or why did this happen? Instead of asking yourself, why is this happening this way? Why is this not working? Start asking yourself, what am I thinking? What am I thinking in this moment? So let's say, for example, when you look in the mirror, what are your first thoughts? And go have a think about what the first thought is that pops into your mind. Oftentimes, we don't even notice what the first thought is, because sometimes it can enter our mind and then leave just as quickly as it's entered, but it's still there and it's still going on in our subconscious. So just have a think. What's the first thought? Looking in that mirror, is the first thought, I look ugly today, or I need to lose weight on my size, or oh God, I haven't been in the gym in ages. What is the first thought? And this is where we want to start then reversing these thoughts for ourselves. So again, this can be your little bit of homework for this week, is to just become hyper aware of your thoughts. So for example, when you look at your bank account, what's the first thought you think? Is it, I've not made any money this week, or everything keeps going down, the numbers keep going down in my bank account, or oh my gosh, it makes me feel sick looking at this bank account. What is the first thought that goes on in your head, right? And again, if you're in a job, or if you're in or about your career, when you start focusing on your career aspects, is it, oh my God, things are so hard for me at the moment, why am I I just have to work so hard to make this happen for me,
as I said before, there's just not enough opportunities, like these sorts of things. Or, and then how can we start to reverse that? Okay. So like I said, even the most self-developed of us, like myself, I've been doing this work for years. Some of you guys are beginners, some of you are newbies, some of you have been following me since forever, some of you have been through my academy and been through every single other course that I've brought out. But it still applies to every single one of you. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey, because I still have these thoughts, I still have things creep in. But the fact is now is that I notice it straight away, like almost immediately. So before anything is actually manifested into my life through this, before anything has actually hit my reticular activating system and made me focus on the shit, I've realized what the thought was. And I've gone, okay, well, that's not going to be one of my beliefs. Like, that's just not happening. You know what I mean? So, it's okay to think these things. And also this brings up a really good point, right? I get a lot of people that maybe are newbies to manifestation that say to me, oh my God, Jess, like I've been thinking negatively over the past few days. Is this going to manifest negative things into my life? And people get really freaking caught up and worried about this. Let me tell you, like, you're only going to manifest things like physical things into your life and physical like situations if you are literally on repeat over and over and over and over again thinking that thing. Because like I said, a belief is just a thought you think over and over again. So for me, yes, 3 or 4 years ago, I was manifesting shit in my life, and by shit, like, I just mean I wasn't getting the auditions. I wasn't making money. I wasn't, I didn't love myself. I didn't have great relationships. And that's because I had so many limiting beliefs that I had lived with for so many years. But let me tell you, when you start this work, like, it's not going to take you years to transform your beliefs, right? Just because you've been thinking them for years doesn't mean that it's going to take another however many years for you to transform. Like, it took me less than a year to take my bank account from 0 to 6 figures. It took me less than a year to build a community up, build a successful business up. It took me less than a year to get truly recognized as an actress. You know what I mean? So like, it doesn't have to take that long, and you don't want to get caught up in it, because if you've started this work, guys, if you're listening to this podcast, then if you have a few occasional negative beliefs, it is not going to freaking change your life, right? Because because you're doing this work with me, okay? So don't get caught up on that. Just know that if you want, always go back to what what is kicking in your reticular activating system. If you thought that thing, allow it. We all have negative beliefs sometimes, but then go back to, okay, well, what do I actually want to be believing? So this is the next part of your homework, guys. It's to just go, okay, I've become hyper aware of maybe what I'm thinking and believing half the time. What do I actually want to believe, right? So when I look in that mirror, I want to believe that I'm fucking beautiful. I want to believe that my body is perfect just the way it is, that everybody I meet falls in love with me. That's just one of my, I love that affirmation. And again, we're going to dive into affirmations more probably next week, but be thinking, okay, what do you want your truth to actually be? Okay. So this is basically what our limiting beliefs really are. They've come from, as I said right at the start of this episode, they've come from a place of deep fear and trying to keep our ego kicks in because it likes to keep us safe, from things. So, we don't want to start believing things that could maybe potentially embarrass us or put us in danger, in, our tiny human minds. That's what we believe is going to happen. So we just sit in this negative bias to try and keep us safe, but actually it's not serving us at all because, yes, it could be keeping you safe, but it's also not that it's also preventing you from putting yourself out there, showing up and showing off, like I always say, and then actually manifesting the reality you want. So for those of you that have loved this episode As always, tag me in your Instagram stories. Let me know how you found it. Drop me a DM. But for those of you that have listened and been like, okay, like I get a little bit more about what we kind of work through together in the mindset section of what I do, because as I've said before, like this is just one part of the manifestation process. Like it is not the be all end all. And this is why like we have to tie in all of the energy work too, and miracle work too, because that's what makes it go faster for us, right? But if you've like really understood a bit more about what this means, and maybe you are a complete beginner, or maybe you've just come across me, don't be afraid to drop me an email. My email is always linked in my show notes, to inquire about my academy, because my academy is going through a whole up-level stage at the moment. So like I've not brought another round out yet. And again, I'm listening to my intuition on this. I've been doing so much in my other business and in my acting career. So I've been getting ready to relaunch my academy. So this will be coming out. So if you guys are like, oh my gosh, like I do want to work with you, like, you know, I want to go through all of this stuff with you and actually come out a better person and freaking manifest the life of my dreams, then don't be afraid to drop me an email and inquire, because I do have a wait list going on. So this is the first episode in this mini series, Back to Basics series, all things mindset, manifestation, and miracles. And I hope that you've enjoyed, and I'll chat to you all next week.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who you think would love it too. And if you want to let me know how you found it, just screenshot this episode, add it to your Instagram story, and tag me at I am Jessica Paul, so that I can throw all the love right back at you. And of course, subscribe, hit those 5 stars, and leave a review to show your support and to keep the good stuff coming. Sending you so much love and gratitude from your girl Jess.